Hello, my name's Hubert. I'm from Melbourne, Australia, and among other things, I'm a nature and outdoor enthusiast, a photographer, and hobbyist filmmaker. And today, we're in my local parklands to do my first ever outdoor gear video review. This is what we're here for, an inflatable camping pad or sleeping mattress. This pad is a result of a collaboration between Massdrop, a community-based bulk buying website, and Klymit, a respected innovative outdoor gear company, all based in America. There are two pads on offer, an uninsulated for summer use and an insulated version for winter use. I have the insulated version, but I'll be discussing both in this video. These pads are quite exciting for some people because they present excellent value. They compare in the market to products that cost 2, 3 or 4 times the price. I was gifted this pad by Danny from Massdrop, and the understanding that I would present my feedback in the comments section and answer questions on the drop page listing. To be clear, I'm not here to sell this pad, but to be informative, to give you the best understanding of what it's like to use this pad and if it suits your needs. So the pad consists of 2 layers of nylon fabric on either side. Both sides are 20 denier thickness, which is quite lightweight compared to other tough mats, which are 75. The colour is purposely chosen to be dark so that it can dry in direct sunlight. You have dark green on the top and black on the underside. The construction is quite simple. It's 2 pieces of fabric lined on a table and electronically heat welded together. Between each weld are the baffles, and each baffle has a lining of synthetic insulation in the insulated model. The insulation, when new, is about so thick, and it is glued to the underside of the top layer. With use and with some agitation, eventually the insulation will expand, and that's desirable to keep you warmer because a loftier area traps more heat than a dense area. Sleeping pads are constructed similarly to down jackets. You can have sewn through baffles where the fabric touches each other everywhere it's sewn, or box construction. Box construction is like having 2 layers, and then to hold it together there's an internal wall. This is the sewn through method. This is more economical and cheaper to make, and also can have grooves. The benefit of the grooves is that your sleeping bag insulation can fill these grooves, making you much warmer from underneath. Anywhere between 30 to 40% of this mat is simply flat welding seams, so I can touch my finger through here. A box constructed sleeping pad has twice the amount of air, so perhaps twice the amount of support, but it is flat, meaning that your sleeping bag or quilt compresses, not keeping you as warm. This is the inflation valve. It's a twist lock that you blow into it or use an inflation sack. This is letting air out, and to close it, there we go. As I was blowing in then, I could sense that there was resistance of my air going in. So you need to exert a little bit more effort inflating it than other standard air valves. The same thing could be said for when air evacuates, but it works. Some people have requested a flat valve system, like this one here. This is from a Sea to Summit pillow. Unfortunately, this is patented, so you probably will never see it on this product, but it's something to consider. It's a two-way valve. At the moment, it's locked off. You take off one tab. This is the inflation area. You can see the green is a floppy piece of material, so you can blow straight in. It's one way, air doesn't come out. And to adjust pressure, you can push the little nipple here. And for rapid deflation, rip it open. Done. This is just a huge, big hole. With any inflatable mattress, you want to inflate it twice. Once, let it sit, let it acclimatize to the weather from your breath to the ambient temperature, and then you'll notice it deflates a little, so then you want to re-inflate it to your preferred firmness. So now the pad is at its firmest, I'm sitting right in the middle, and at the moment my entire body weight is making the pad compress entirely towards the ground. But this is designed to spread your body weight evenly across the pad. So as I lay down, I'll notice that my bum will lift off the ground, and my body weight will be distributed across the mat. I am 6'3" or 190 centimeters, and this is designed for about a 6 foot or 180 centimeter person. So it's a little bit short for me, but that's okay. So right now, no part of me is touching the ground. I am evenly supported with a little bit of buoyancy. It's quite comfortable. Let's do the same for the hips. Completely distributed weight, and let's put weight on the hips. I can't do it. All right. On the ground. Off. Quite off the ground. What I've noticed is these grooves are quite cute places to rest your feet. They just rest there nicely. This shot is to demonstrate the width. To save weight on this pad, I've made it quite narrow, 20 inches or 51 centimeters wide. So let's see how that feels for back sleeping. Right now, it's marginally wider than my shoulders, about 1 to 2 centimeters or 1 inch either side. If I rest my hands, my elbows, they naturally want to go onto the ground. My elbows can stay there, and if I can do this, it just contains me. I'm about 32-inch waist. And if you can get it right, the weld seams are a nice drop point for your elbows to rest. This is kind of like being cradled by a hand. Something to do with the structure, the V shapes, the channels on the side. I don't know, I find I'm not yearning for a wider pad. So I also had my 62-year-old father try this pad out. He weighs about 90 kilograms and in ounces, and he found that his body weight didn't compress this at all. He found it quite comfortable. He mentioned that he might want it wider. I think that's a psychological thing. But sometimes psychological things can keep you awake, so definitely a consideration. The more time I spend on this pad, the more I just want to go to sleep. My elbows are gravitating towards the ground. You have to be quite a disciplined corpse to be a back sleeper. You can do this. Let's hop into a sleeping bag. Whew. So the width is totally adequate for adult male shoulders and below. The only real concern is the elbows and hands. And when you're in a sleeping bag, it contains you a little bit. Right now my elbows can touch the ground, but they're kind of held up a little bit. Very comfortable. Now, side sleeping. See how the pad just moved below me? If I was to realign my body and my past projection, look where the pad's now. So, trying to straighten it up. So I have had that experience before with pads. So it's quite slippery, the top fabric, you can hear that. And on a slippery tent floor. So that's why some people put silicone on their tent floor. Probably better to do that than on a sleeping pad itself. So to conclude about the width of the pad, it's totally adequate for comfort. The only issue is when you move about and if you lose it from underneath you. And so one method is to use retaining straps. Sometimes there are loops in the bottom of your sleeping bag and a strap that goes around the whole pad so that when you rotate within it instead of over it, so to speak. That way you're not going to lose your pad. If shoulder width is a concern, you could get some spare foam or a torso length pad and run it perpendicular perhaps. It doesn't need to be this wide, you could cut it down so it just fits nicely for your requirements. But you can get foam for $10, so that's quite an economical way to retain comfort where all your pressure points are, and the foam's just there to keep your arms off the ground. The pad at my foot end is sliding sideways. So having this foam underneath my shoulder area psychologically gives me confidence that I'm not going to wake up with cold spots. I've gotten in nice and close here for the sound test. Surface sound. Sleeping bag sound. Crinkle sound. So this is sideways movement. And then this is shifting around your body weight. To summarize on the sound front, it's rather quiet, and my sleeping bag absorbed most of the sound. I didn't really notice it, and neither will your fellow campgoers. It's no more noisy than a normal sleeping bag, unlike other mattresses that are quite crinkly. So what are my final thoughts on my initial impressions of this sleeping pad? It's comfortable, it's lightweight, it's warm, and it's very economical. The only caveat that some might see is that it's quite narrow. But for some, if you sleep with a sleeping quilt and you use the attachment straps so that it doesn't move around when you sleep, this is an excellent option to consider. If width is an issue for you, remember that Massdrop is a community-based website. So if you log in, mention that you would like a wide one, the people at Massdrop listen, and you may see a wide one come up in the near future. This is the first collaboration between Massdrop and Klymit, so there could be many more collaborations in the future, and they could be made with your contributions in the comments section. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been helpful, informative, somewhat entertaining. This is my very first review, so if you have any suggestions for me, I'd love to have some feedback. So goodbye for now, and I'll leave you with real-time footage of me inflating and deflating the mattress. Enjoy.
sun was beginning to set, so I thought I would get out of the valley I was in and take you up to one of my favourite places in my local area to watch the sunset. Right now we're on top of Mount Buffalo, a man-made mini mountain made by the park ranger here. It's called Mount Buffalo because he designed it so you could sit up here, watch the sunset and smoke some weed. I thought it was a pretty cool story to share.